so we're going right from where we left off and doing Morning's End Part 1. Very well, Aaron will be in later. Balloon can take you there. Start the quest. Balloon hands you a tiny crystal seed. Here you go, if you ever need to get back to Lolita, you can use this. Use it sparingly as it only has a few uses. If you need, I can re-enchant it, but I am not so talented as the singer who originally made this one. Thanks a lot, Eleanor. Now I'd better get going or else it will get worried. Ah, Margaret Thatcher, glad to see you made it. Welcome to Latia, home of the Elven Resistance. Thank you, it wasn't particularly easy to get here. It took so much to convince Islwyn I should be trusted. That is not surprising. He is not particularly fond of humans, but if you earned his trust, it proves to me that I will right to take a chance on you. I'm glad you did. I hate the thought that I might have blindly worked for King Lathis and Lord Eowyrth right now. Well, you're here now and you'll have a chance to right your previous wrongs. I hope so. There's a lot I still don't understand though. Why are King Lathis and Lord Eowyrth working together? Where does the plague fit in? I'm afraid that lot is still unknown to us as well. However, I will explain what I can. Be aware that this is only a brief overview. You'll find some books around the village that explain more if you wish though. Okay, let's begin. Many years ago, all elves lived in harmony within the crystal city of Prifidinus, alongside our goddess Seren. When the God Wars ended, Seren was lost to us. For the first time, we were alone. To lead us through those difficult times, Baxtorian Kadan was named the first king of the elves. Under Baxtorian, our kingdom expanded into the east. We prospered for a time, but little did we know that an enemy walked among us. During that time, Lord Eowyrth turned from Seren and pledged himself to Zamarok, the Dark Lord. A larger kingdom meant our forces were further spread. Lord Eowyrth took advantage of that. He claimed Prifidinus as his own. Baxtorian tried to take it back from him, but Prifidinus was built to survive the God Wars. There was no way to retake it. In a last attempt to keep the city safe, Baxtorian and the clan elders sang the Song of Inversion, which reverted the entire city into a crystal seed. Ah, so that explains why the city just looks like an empty field. Indeed. After that, Baxtorian returned to the east, but found that the rest of the kingdom had fallen while he was away. Not only that, but his wife, Glariel, had been taken. I know this bit. Baxtorian retreated into his home beneath the waterfall and never came out. I moved Glariel's remains into the waterfall so they could be together. That's good to hear. I can see why you managed to earn Islwyn's trust. Anyway, with Baxtorian gone and Prifidinus lost, our land erupted into a civil war. We've been fighting ever since. I see, it's good to have a bit more understanding. But where does King Lathis come into this? That is the bit we're not so sure on. We know little about the lands to the east. From what we can tell, it seems that Lord Eowyrth has promised to support King Lathis in reclaiming some land his family once owned. But why? What's in it for Lord Eowyrth? That's what we want you to find out. According to our spies, Lord Eowyrth has been using the alliance with King Lathis as an opportunity to infiltrate West Ardoon. The city must contain something he needs. But infiltrate how? Those that you know as mourners are in fact elves in service to Lord Eowyrth. We regularly see them crossing the Aradar mountain pass into the east. Mourners are elves? That they are. We assume that the plague is a cover-up for them to enter the city unchallenged. We don't know why though, that's why we need you. You know the city and can freely travel there. You are the perfect person for the task. We need you to go to West Ardoon, infiltrate the mourners and find out what they are doing in the city. So you want me to infiltrate the mourners? How am I supposed to achieve that? I don't have an exact plan for you, I'm afraid. You know the city better than any of us, so are best placed to make a plan yourself. However, as I said before, there have been sightings of mourners across the Arendar mountain pass. I'm sure you can take advantage of that. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Where are these books then? Prifidus history. It is told that the first elves to come through the World Gate found a world full of beautiful woodlands and terrible beasts. It was Seren who told the 8 clans that if they were to survive in the hostile environment, they must form a single community for mutual protection. Hang on, let me move this. Seren proceeded to show them all to a clearing in the forest where she had already created the Tower of Voices, a place for all elven kind to congregate and the future home of Assembly of Elders. Over the following days, Seren imparted her idea for a new city, a city where all elves would have access to hear her words, a city where all elves would live in peace, a living city made of the very same crystal that she herself was comprised. It was decided that the city should be set out in an octagon. Each of the 8 clans would have their own segment of the city. Each segment would be edged on one side by a city wall with its opposing corner at the city centre, where the Tower of Voices was located. This would give each of the clans equal access to hear the words of Seren and equal responsibility for the city's protection in the case of a siege. Seren then provided one special seed for every clan, telling them that each seed should be planted in the centre of each clan's segment of the city. The 8 clans did this and found that the seeds grew into great towers. Before long there were 9 crystal towers in the clearing, and so the city of Prifidinus was born. Exploration of the Eastern Realm. This volume is meant as a historical document covering the period between the breakout and the creation of the Eastern Province. You'll find the book is written from a third-party point of view. This is an attempt to make the literature more objective. Chapter 1. The Breakout. In matters of history, it is always best to understand some background to the subject you are studying, so we shall have a brief explanation of the breakout. After centuries of isolated development after the God Wars, it was decided that Elven domain needed to expand. With their backs to the sea, there was only one way to go, east. After many years of hard work, a pass over the mountains was created. The creation of this pass is a long tale unto itself, and we shall leave that subject for another time. Chapter 2. First Impressions. For the first time since Seren had departed, the Elven people could leave Tirowin. They found a land in chaos. Many of the races that had been dominant before the end of the God Wars were on the edge of extinction or had simply vanished. The Gnome City, which in years past had good trade with the Elves, was now little more than a village. As for the Majarat, who had never had good relations with Elves, there was no trace. The only sign anyone had ever been there was the sacred battlegrounds. Seeing the vacuum in power, the Elves elected to move quickly, but first they needed some security. Chapter 3. Treaty. Knowing how volatile the Eastern lands can be, King Backstory concluded that the safest way to proceed was to draw up a non-aggression pact with the other races of the land. They were the Gnomes to the north, the Humans to the east, and the Ogres to the south. The Gnomes have taken great losses at the end of the God Wars, were more than happy to find a race who did not wish them harm, and signed up to the treaty immediately. The Humans, being of many different tribes, were a little harder to get any agreement from. After much time and organisation, however, the tribes concluded that a non-aggression pact with the Elves was in all their best interests. Lastly, the Elves approached the Ogres and their kin to the south. Unfortunately, without Bando's guidance, which had held these races together for millennia, the nation had fallen into a bloody civil war, making any form of treaty with each side useless. The Elven people decided that 2 out of 3 treaties agreed upon was good enough to start the colonisation of the new lands, and so the Eastern Province was born. This volume is meant as a historical document to tell future generations about the settlement of the area to the east of Tirowin. It is suggested that you read Explorations of the Eastern Realm to give this grounding for the book. You'll find the book is written from a third-party point of view. This is an attempt to make it more objective. Chapter 1. The First Community. After the Elves had completed their diplomatic negotiation with the neighbouring nations, King Backstory felt it was at last time to use the land they had secured. It was decided that as the Ogre nation to the south was unstable, the Kadan clan would be the first to settle the newly acquired land, as they were one of the few clans able to defend themselves. It was not long before the first Elven town in the Eastern Realm was born, populated by the Kadan clan settlers. Chapter 2. A Time of Peace. After the Kadan clan had secured the new realm, the other clans, seeing how much wealth was coming over Arandar, were quick to join them. This was a time of great prosperity and profits for Elves, Gnomes and Humans alike. New trade agreements were being created with the Gnomes and Humans. Soon, new Elven settlements started to be created. Chapter 3. A Time of War. Although at this time the Elves, Gnomes and Humans were living in peace, to the south the war between the Ogres and the Goblin neighbours degenerated. The Ogres attempted to disseminate all Goblin tribes in the south. This started a mass exodus of the Goblins, and they started to emigrate north along the coast, moving through the lands not yet settled by Elves. Although the Goblins were busy guarding their backs to the south, and did not have the resources to start a war on 2 fronts, this did not stop them from raiding for supplies in the Elven lands. Chapter 4. Community. Within a few decades of the breakout, The elves had created many thriving settlements and a vast network of roads despite the constant raiding from the goblins. The new realm continued to thrive for many years and likely will for many more. Okay, the final book, The Great Divide. I should start by telling you about the events that led up to the Great Divide. For almost 2 millennia we lived in the Eastern Realm. Then in the year 1930 we lost all contact with our people back in Terrawin. We found that the route over the mountains was impassable and our incantations were unable to penetrate the gates that had been built there. King Baxtorian called an emergency council, which I was lucky enough to take part in. We decided that before any major action could be taken, we needed to know what had happened. Many days to re-enter Terrawin were discussed. Many ways to re-enter Terrawin were discussed. It was then that I reminded the council of an old cave system that led through the mountains. Within the caves our ancestors had built the Well of Voyage, a portal between the east and west. Once the pass through Arendar was built, the well was abandoned, as no one had any desire to enter those cursed caves without reason. Soon it was decided to send 5 members of the Kadan clan through the Well of Voyage to recover any information that could tell us what was happening. We chose to reconvene upon their return. After a few weeks, Ardea returned, the only one of the 5 scouts that made it back. The council was called to listen to his news. He told us of the chaos he had seen, elves killing elves in the streets of Prifddinas, and the seizing of the Tower of Voices by Clan Eoworth. Hearing all this sparked a debate that continued for days. Many plans were put forward of how we should deal with the problems back home. Ideas ranged from the assassination of Lord Eoworth to just leaving the Western elves to kill each other. It was at this point that Baxtorian quoted the Serdi, telling all those present that only together as 8 clans can we hope to survive in this hostile new world. He then pledged to stop the madness that had befallen Prifddinas, and so started the Baxtorian campaign. After many days of preparation, Baxtorian's army was ready to move. I chose to join them to keep records of what transpired, so it was that we made our way to the entrance of the cave system that eventually led to the Well of Voyage. Travelling in such places is never easy, and this was no exception. To transport the whole army and our supplies through the cave system took us many weeks. It was not until... Oh, the last few pages are missing! Damn it! Okay. So... we need to get the Mourner's gear. So we need to go to... Ardun. Let's go to the bank. Oh, okay, use the Necklace of Passage. It would have been faster to go back to that rock. Oh well. Passage. Outpost. Then walking west. Oh, west. I went east. Mm. Go away. Let's read this letter. To whom we're concerned, this is survey. The bearer of this letter has passed all entry requirements for the Death Guard. Okay. Pools of refreshment. How do I get there? Ah, Ring of Dueling. Okay, stats restored. Just need to go to Taverley. Is Taverley the one that's... Let's forget if Taverley's at the top or the bottom. Oh no, it's here by Falador, isn't it? Okay, Falador Telly. Oh, the moustache is gone. I had an interview, so... Japanese people, mate. We'll grow back in a few weeks. Where is the druid I want? Oh, he's doing laundry by the lake. Makes sense. He's over here. Ah, there he is. So you're doing laundry, eh? Yes, what is it to you? Nice day for it. I suppose it is. Do you know a way to remove bloodstains? Bloodstains, is it? Well, the soap I use to clean almost any stain. Really, that sounds like just the thing I can get. Can I use some? No, I don't have any much soap left and I still have lots to get clean. Right, can you tell me where I can buy some? You can't, I make it to my own secret recipe. Could you be less helpful? If you know way, just tell me, I'll give it a try. Steal it from his laundry basket. Steal the soap. Yay, clean the top. Travel to Leletia to move the teleport crystal. Diddy's house. Yes, I come straight out of Diddy's house. Ah, the seamstress. Hello, can I help? Can you mend clothes? I do, but human clothes are too hard to mend. They do not have the finesse of elven garments. I need you to repair some elven clothing as it goes. Let me take a look at it then. You show the seamstress the mourner's trousers. There's something disturbingly familiar about the design of these trousers. They are made for an elf. But can you fix them? Of course I can, but I will need 2 pieces of silk and some bear fur. Great, I have both of those here. Huh, it's almost like you knew what you needed. Orenwen hands you the mourner trousers. They look as good as new. Thanks a lot. Anytime. Okay. Into West Ardoon we go. I also like reading my sides, but so normally I do like number 0 at the back underneath, and I went too far forward, so I've had to do 0 on the sides. It's fucking weird. Where is the mourner's hideout? Is that the one on the top right? Yeah. Just put me clothes on. There he is.